Everything you say carries energy. The way you speak, the tone you use, and the emotions behind your words shape how someone feels about you. If you want him to be drawn to you, to think about you constantly, and to crave your presence, you must learn to communicate in a way that speaks not just to his mind, but to his emotions and subconscious. Most people focus on what they say, but true influence comes from how you make someone feel when you speak. When you connect with him on a deep emotional level, his brain releases dopamine, the same chemical tied to pleasure, desire, and addiction. If your words make him feel good, if your presence excites him, if your energy creates an experience he can't get elsewhere, he will crave more of it. You don't need to be loud or say too much. Sometimes the most powerful attraction is built in the space between words. When you speak with intention, leaving just enough mystery, his mind will fill in the blanks. He will start thinking about you even when you're not around. But here's the key. Your words must align with the energy you carry. If you speak with confidence, self-love, and certainty, he won't just hear you, he will feel you. And when someone feels you at that level, you don't have to chase. He will come to you. He will want to be near you. He won't be able to resist. When you master this, you don't just communicate. You create an emotional experience. And that experience is what makes him addicted to you. Your energy is the foundation of every interaction. Long before words are spoken, energy is exchanged. People feel you before they hear you. The way you enter a room, the way you hold yourself, the way your eyes meet his, these unspoken cues send messages that can either draw someone in or push them away. If you want to create a deep, irresistible attraction, it begins with the energy you carry into every interaction. Attraction is not just about physical appearance or charm. It is about the emotional imprint you leave on someone's mind. The energy you bring into conversation shapes how someone experiences you. If you radiate confidence, warmth, and certainty, your words will carry a deeper impact. On the other hand, if you approach with insecurity, doubt, or hesitation, no matter how well you choose your words, they will not create the same effect. The human brain is wired to seek positive emotional experiences. When someone feels good around you, they subconsciously associate you with pleasure, excitement, and comfort. That association is what creates emotional addiction. It's why certain people become unforgettable, not because of what they said, but because of how they made someone feel. When you speak, your tone and delivery matter more than the words themselves. Two people can say the same sentence, but the energy behind it determines how it's received. If your voice carries warmth and certainty, if your body language exudes self-assurance, it creates a magnetic pull. The way you use pauses, eye contact, and subtle gestures can make someone feel truly seen and understood. Your ability to shape energy is also linked to your emotional state. If you are constantly anxious, stressed, or desperate for validation, that energy will seep into your words. People don't just listen to words, they feel them. If you want him to be drawn to you, you must first cultivate the energy of self-assurance, fulfillment, and deep inner confidence. When you are at peace within yourself, when you feel worthy and whole without needing external validation, your presence becomes magnetic. The most powerful connections are not forced, they are felt. When you engage with someone from a place of genuine presence and alignment, it creates an energetic connection that lingers. He won't just hear what you say, he will feel it. He will remember how your presence made him feel even when you're not around. That feeling is what makes someone crave your energy, your words, your presence. True attraction happens at the level of emotion, not logic. Someone might not even be able to explain why they feel drawn to you, but they will keep coming back. Because your energy gives them something they don't get elsewhere. It's not about manipulation, it's about mastering your own emotional state, so that your presence naturally elevates the energy in any interaction. There's a rhythm to connection. If you are fully present, engaged, and emotionally in tune with yourself, the conversation flows effortlessly. If you're distracted, needy, or overthinking, the energy feels off and the connection weakens. He might not consciously recognize it, but at an unconscious level, he will sense it. That's why attraction isn't just about words, it's about the state you are in when you speak them. When you learn to control your state, to walk into every interaction with certainty and ease, you shift how people perceive you. He won't just listen to you, he will feel an unexplainable pull toward you. It won't be about what you say, it will be about the energy you carry while saying it. The way you communicate can trigger deep emotional responses in someone's brain. Every word you say, every tone you use, and every subtle shift in your energy can activate powerful emotional triggers that make someone feel deeply connected to you. If you want him to crave your presence, to think about you even when you're not around, you must learn how to activate the emotional centers of his brain in a way that creates desire, curiosity, and attachment. The human brain is designed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. When something feels good, the brain releases dopamine, the same chemical responsible for addiction. This is why certain experiences, conversations, or even people become irresistible. If you can create an emotional experience that lights up the reward center of his brain, he will associate you with that pleasure. He won't just want to be around you, he will need to be around you. Most people communicate in a way that is logical and transactional. They talk about their day, share facts, or engage in surface-level conversations. But true connection happens when you bypass logic and speak directly to the emotions. This means shifting from what you say to how you make him feel when you say it. The key to emotional triggers lies in the way you use your voice, your timing, and your choice of words. Your voice should carry warmth, mystery, and intention. The way you pause before delivering a key phrase, the way you slightly lower your tone when saying something meaningful, these small shifts create an emotional impact. He won't just hear your words, he will feel them. Another powerful emotional trigger is anticipation. The mind is drawn to what it cannot predict. If you are always predictable, if he always knows what you're going to say or do, the brain loses interest. But if you introduce subtle elements of surprise, whether in your responses, your energy, or the way you engage with him, you keep his mind engaged. Anticipation builds dopamine, and dopamine builds desire. Think about a great story or movie. What keeps you hooked? It's not just the words or the plot, it's the way it makes you feel. The highs, the lows, the moments of uncertainty followed by deep connection. This is the same with communication. If you speak in a way that triggers curiosity, excitement, or deep emotion, his brain will link those feelings to you. One of the strongest emotional triggers is the feeling of being understood. When someone feels deeply seen and heard, their defenses lower and their emotional connection strengthens. If you can listen intently, respond with intention, and reflect back emotions in a way that makes them feel truly understood, you will create a bond that feels irreplaceable. Another key trigger is exclusivity. People crave what feels rare and special. If he believes that the way you talk, the way you connect, the way you engage is something unique, something he doesn't get from anyone else, his mind will hold on to that experience. This is why certain people leave a lasting impression. They make others feel something that no one else does. The secret is not in saying more, but in saying things that trigger deep emotional responses. The way you phrase something, the way you introduce a slight pause before revealing something meaningful, the way you let moments of silence build anticipation, these create experiences, not just conversations. If you learn how to trigger his emotions instead of just communicating logically, you will shift the way he experiences you. He will crave your words, your presence, your energy, because being with you feels like something his mind and heart need. Attraction is not about forcing connection, it's about creating an emotional experience that someone wants to return to over and over again. If you want him to be drawn to you in a way that feels effortless, you must learn the art of emotional contrast, the ability to take him on an emotional journey that keeps his mind and heart engaged. The human brain craves variety. If an experience is too predictable, it becomes boring. If it's too chaotic, it becomes overwhelming. But when there is the perfect mix of comfort, excitement, familiarity, and surprise, the mind stays engaged. This is what creates emotional addiction. Think about the most compelling movies, books, or songs. They don't keep the same tone the entire time. They shift, they build, they drop, they rise again. They take you on a journey. This is exactly how deep attraction works. If every interaction feels the same, if your tone, words, and energy never shift, his mind will eventually tune out. But if you create moments of intrigue, laughter, depth, and even silence, you create a rhythm that keeps his mind locked in. One of the most powerful ways to do this is by balancing warmth and challenge. Warmth makes him feel safe, seen, and understood. Challenge keeps him engaged, curious, and wanting more. If you are always too available, always too predictable, or if your energy is too one-dimensional, his mind will register the experience as something he understands completely, and once the brain fully understands something, it stops craving it. But when you add contrast, when you show warmth but also create moments of playful challenge, when you are open yet still carry an air of mystery, you keep his emotional state shifting just enough to maintain his interest. The brain loves a puzzle. And if he feels there is always something new to discover about you, he will keep coming back for more. Emotional contrast also applies to the way you speak. If your tone is always the same, the words may be powerful, but the delivery loses impact. But if you use slight variations, softening your voice at times, pausing in key moments, even changing your pace, it creates a dynamic experience that draws someone in. Another key to emotional contrast is knowing when to engage and when to pull back. If you're always the one initiating, always filling the space with words, always keeping the conversation going, there's no room for him to step forward. But when you pull back slightly, when you let a moment linger, when you allow silence to build, when you give him the space to miss your presence, his mind starts to anticipate. And anticipation builds desire. Think of it like music. The most beautiful songs are not just constant notes, they have pauses, rises, and falls. The same applies to attraction. If you want him to feel deeply drawn to you, you must create moments of connection in space, warmth and intrigue, openness and mystery. This contrast makes every interaction feel fresh, and it keeps his emotional state engaged. Most people make the mistake of thinking attraction is about being more, saying more, doing more, giving more. But the real secret is in mastering rhythm and contrast. When you create an emotional experience that feels dynamic, engaging, and unpredictable in the best way, his mind will link you to excitement, passion, and curiosity. Once his brain associates you with those emotions, he won't be able to help but crave more. True connection is not about constantly proving your worth, it's about making someone feel something powerful when they're around you. The key to creating deep emotional bonds lies in your energy, what you project, how you carry yourself, and the way you make him experience emotions he can't find anywhere else. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel good, not just about the world, but about themselves. If every time he interacts with you, he feels uplifted, understood, and energized, he will crave more of that experience. But this doesn't mean being overly accommodating or always agreeable. It means becoming someone who radiates confidence, presence, and a deep understanding of human connection. One of the most powerful ways to do this is by embodying emotional certainty. The most magnetic people are those who own their emotions, who don't seek validation, and who create an environment of emotional stability. If you're reactive, uncertain, or always adjusting yourself based on his moods, his mind won't register you as a source of emotional safety. But if you remain centered, confident, and emotionally self-sufficient, he will be drawn to your presence. People are wired to seek certainty. When someone carries a strong sense of self, it makes others feel safe in their energy. This is why confidence is so attractive, not because of arrogance, but because it signals emotional security. If your energy is unwavering, if you don't chase or over-explain, if you communicate with presence instead of neediness, you automatically create a space where he feels at ease. And the more at ease he feels with you, the more he will crave being around you. Another key to emotional connection is depth. Most conversations stay on the surface: what happened in the day, casual remarks, routine exchanges. But if you can guide the interaction into something deeper by asking insightful questions, by bringing up topics that spark thought, by creating moments of vulnerability, you tap into the part of his mind that is rarely activated. People long for deep connection but rarely experience it. If he finds that with you, his brain will register you as someone unique, someone he doesn't want to lose. This doesn't mean always having deep conversations, but rather knowing when to shift from lighthearted fun to something more meaningful. It's about creating a balance where he can laugh with you, but also share things he doesn't share with others. Your energy also communicates more than your words ever could. If you're relaxed and present, if you maintain eye contact with confidence, if your body language is open and inviting, he will feel the connection rather than just hear it in words. The way you hold space, the way you listen, the way you react subtly but intentionally, these non-verbal cues trigger emotions that words alone cannot. Another powerful aspect of emotional attraction is unpredictability, not in an unstable way, but in a way that keeps the energy fresh. If he can always predict exactly how you'll respond, exactly what you'll say, his mind disengages. But if you introduce small elements of unpredictability, whether it's switching up the energy, introducing humor in unexpected moments, or keeping a little mystery in how much you reveal, it keeps him intrigued. Attraction is not built through logic, it is built through experience. If he experiences excitement, comfort, depth, and curiosity every time he's around you, his mind will link those emotions to you. And once someone associates you with powerful emotional states, they don't just want you in their life, they need you in their life. Emotional attraction isn't just about what you say, it's about how you say it, when you say it, and why it matters. The way you communicate can either make him feel an undeniable pull toward you or leave him feeling neutral, indifferent, or even disconnected. If you want him to be truly addicted to your presence, you must learn how to create emotional depth through your words, tone, and energy. Most people communicate on autopilot. They respond without thinking. They fill silence with meaningless words. They say what they think the other person wants to hear. But true attraction happens when every word you speak carries weight. It's not about talking more, it's about making what you say matter. When your words have intention, when they make him feel something, when they create curiosity or reflection, he will begin to crave the conversations he has with you. The key to this lies in pausing. The way most people speak is rapid and unfiltered. But when you introduce pauses, when you let your words settle, when you give space for his mind to process, you create intrigue. A well-placed pause after a powerful statement makes the listener lean in. It signals confidence, presence, and control. It turns your words from background noise into something unforgettable. Another powerful technique is speaking with emotionally charged language. Instead of saying, "I had a good day," say, "Today felt amazing. I had this moment where everything just clicked." Instead of saying, "That was fun," say, "That was completely unexpected in the best way possible." The way you describe things should evoke feeling, because emotions are what make experiences stick in memory. The same principle applies when you speak to him directly. Instead of giving surface-level compliments, say things that trigger deeper emotions. Instead of, "You look good today," say, "There's something about the way you carry yourself, it's magnetic." Instead of, "I like spending time with you," say, "There's something about being around you that makes everything else fade away." When you speak in a way that triggers emotions instead of just conveying facts, his mind will attach meaning to your words. But emotional attraction isn't just about what you say, it's about how he feels when he speaks to you. If every time he shares something you react predictably, his brain will begin to tune out. But if you introduce unexpected responses, if you challenge him in a playful way, if you tease him at the right moment, if you show understanding when he expects judgment, you create contrast. And contrast keeps people engaged. For example, if he says, "I had a rough day," most people would respond with, "Oh no, what happened?" But an unexpected response could be, "Oh, so you're telling me you need an escape? Lucky for you, I know a thing or two about turning a bad day around." This keeps the energy dynamic instead of predictable. Similarly, when he shares something vulnerable, don't just nod along, lean in, ask deeper questions. Show that you actually see him, not just hear him. If he says, "I've been really focused on work lately," don't just say, "That's great." Instead ask, "What is it about your work that keeps you so driven?" When you ask questions that make him reflect, he will unconsciously associate you with depth and meaning. Another key to keeping communication magnetic is to know when to say nothing at all. Sometimes the most powerful response isn't words, it's a look, a smile, a moment of shared silence. When you don't rush to fill every gap in conversation, you allow anticipation to build. Anticipation creates desire, and desire is what makes people crave more. The way you communicate has the power to pull him closer or push him away. If your words make him feel something, if your tone keeps him engaged, if your pauses create anticipation, and if your questions make him reflect, he will find himself wanting more. Not because of what you said, but because of how you made him feel. And once he feels that way around you, no other interaction will compare. Creating an emotional connection that keeps him coming back isn't just about words or actions, it's about energy. The way you carry yourself, the way you feel in his presence, and the way he feels around you will determine whether he becomes addicted to your presence or whether the connection fades into the background. Attraction isn't just logical, it's deeply emotional and energetic. And when you understand how to shape that energy, you become unforgettable. One of the most magnetic things you can do is master emotional regulation. People are drawn to those who are calm, confident, and self-assured, those who don't react impulsively but instead respond with presence. If you let small things shake your energy, if you get easily frustrated or reactive, you create instability. But if you remain steady, centered, and in control of your emotions, he will feel safe in your presence. When someone consistently makes us feel at ease, we begin to crave their energy. Think about the people you love being around the most. Chances are they either uplift you, inspire you, or create a sense of calm. You want to be that for him. But this doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, it means owning them. Instead of reacting out of impulse, take a breath, slow down, and respond with intention. This shift alone makes you stand out in a world where most people are emotionally reactive. Another powerful energy shift is non-attachment. When you radiate the energy of someone who is whole, fulfilled, and deeply content on their own, he will feel it. Desperation repels, but confidence and self-sufficiency attract. If he senses that you are happy with or without him, that your energy is not dependent on his validation, he will naturally want to move closer. The moment you need someone to respond a certain way, you give away your power. But when you choose to engage from a place of emotional freedom, you shift the dynamic in your favor. Your energy also shapes the way you physically interact. The way you look at him, the way you use your voice, the way you carry yourself, it all sends subconscious signals. If you want to create a deep pull, start by mastering your presence. Instead of fidgeting or rushing through conversations, slow down. Instead of constantly filling silence, allow it to exist. Instead of seeking his attention, let him earn yours. One of the most powerful ways to shift the energy is by using eye contact. Most people break eye contact quickly because they feel uncomfortable. But if you can hold a gaze just a little longer than usual, if you can look at him with presence instead of nervousness, it creates an unspoken connection. Eye contact triggers emotions. It can make someone feel seen, understood, and even drawn in without a single word being spoken. The same principle applies to your tone. A voice that is calm, steady, and slightly slower than normal signals confidence. When you rush your words, it gives the impression of nervousness or a need for validation. But when you speak with certainty, when you pause intentionally, when your tone has warmth and depth, it makes your words carry more weight. The way you say something often matters more than what you say. Another energy shift that creates attraction is playfulness. When you bring a light, fun energy into interactions, it creates contrast. People are drawn to those who make them feel good, who bring moments of laughter, who make life feel effortless. If every conversation is heavy or serious, it can feel draining. But if you introduce playfulness, whether through teasing, humor, or a little bit of unpredictability, it keeps the connection alive. The final piece of energy attraction is mystery. If you reveal everything about yourself too quickly, there is nothing left for him to discover. But if you keep a little mystery, if you don't always explain every detail, if you leave things open-ended, If you let him wonder a little, it keeps him intrigued. The mind is drawn to what it cannot fully understand. And when you create that dynamic, he will naturally want to learn more, experience more, and be around you more. Energy is the foundation of attraction. When you master your emotional regulation, your presence, your voice, your eye contact, and your ability to balance playfulness with mystery, you become unforgettable. He won't just like being around you, he will need to be around you. Because the energy you create is something he can't find anywhere else.